Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome into episode 105 of the Second One podcast. Joining you today is myself, Shiz, and we also have Mr. Taheem Green, aka Jordan is better than LeBron James. Brother, how you feeling today?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
Good, good.
Brother Mo Snell, he's out on business. He couldn't make it tonight, but we'll carry the torch for him, and he'll be back next week for sure. So how this podcast works, we talk mostly about sports, hip hop, politics, and everything in between. We try to give it to you straight, raw, no chaser. And if we offend you, we apologize slightly. How we usually kick things off, we have our taking a shot segment where we give a bold prediction about one of the subjects I just named. Collectively, we do about 80%, but when we're taking a shot, you're bound to have a few mistakes here and there. So I'm gonna kick it off. Take it to this NFC West. And I'm gonna take it to these San Francisco 49ers, my brother. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Y'all are not making the playoffs this year, unfortunately. There's a lot of issues with this team. Jimmy G's been in and out, Kittle's been hurt, but those guys will be back. But here's the problem: your schedule. So your upcoming schedule, I have it loaded up here. So you're home for the Rams. You guys are underdogs, which is kind of surprising, even though because Jimmy G is healthy. Then you're at New England, at Seattle, home for Green Bay, at New Orleans, at the Rams, home for the Bills. So that's a pretty tough stretch. You guys are already 2-3. Seattle's off to a hot start, undefeated. Rams look pretty well. They are 4-1. Cardinals they're 3-2. They're a tough opponent as well. I just don't see, like, if I had to pick, like, the NFC West is by far the best division in football, in my opinion. And it just seems like the 49ers want to be the odd man out. Like, you can't get four teams in from one division, I don't think. I don't no, that's not possible, even with the seventh team. And, if I had to pick, you know, the 49ers is just simply not going to make it. I apologize in advance, but what are your thoughts on that, sir?
I must say, Shiz, you are 100% correct. I don't see the 49ers winning another game this season. We just have way too many injuries. We won't have enough time on the actual field playing together to gel to put up a good fight against a lot of these teams because we're playing these teams like at home and we're playing them in their house. And we're talking about the Saints, who's always going to be a tough matchup. We're talking about the Bills, who are a really good team, even though they lost last night. And we're talking about the Rams, who's another good team. And then we're talking about Seattle. So, yeah, I don't think the 49ers are going to win any of these games. I think you're 100% correct. I just think the injury bug hit us, and it hit us hard. And coupled with us getting so far in the playoffs last year, getting to the Super Bowl and losing, the strength of schedule coming back this year, I mean, that plays against us. We had a lot of hard teams to play. And then, I mean, it doesn't help us. We lost last week to Miami.
Yeah.
Jimmy G, he wasn't 100%. He couldn't really put all of his effort into some of those throws because of that high ankle sprain. But it's really no sugarcoating it because our defense got beat a lot. Even though our first, second, third, fourth, and sixth cornerback are actually out. Only one that's actually a player on the team is the fifth cornerback. So he had to start. They had to get somebody from the practice squad to start, and they were burning him. 48 Allen, they were burning. He got like I think 2 or 3 touchdowns off of him. So we're just a team in a bad situation right now.
All right. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, for your sake, I hope I'm wrong, but I think I'm going to be right. But moving on, what is your taking a shot this week, sir?
So my taking a shot is I'm going to head right back to the NFC West, and I'm going to talk about these Cardinals. These Cardinals are a good team. I think they are one piece away from really kind of dominating that conference. And I think that piece just happened to hit the open market yesterday, Le'Veon Bell. I think Le'Veon Bell is going to go to the Cardinals, and he's just going to make that offense so dynamic. I mean, on the outside, you got D-Hop, sure hands, deep threat. Then you got Larry Fitzgerald, who is one of the all-time greats, doesn't drop passes, not scared to go across the middle. Then you have Kyler Murray, who's up and coming, another really, really good quarterback, super mobile, super mobile. If you don't play him right, he can burn you in so many ways. If you have defensive ends that rush straight up the field, then he's just gonna like suck right into the middle and leak out for 15, 20 yards. I just think they need that dynamic running back who they're going to give him Le'Veon Bell. I mean, Le'Veon Bell is that running back that you can literally put in a slot and use him as a slot guy. You use him as a slot guy, you have to put a linebacker on him, and that's a mismatch all day, any team. There's no linebackers in NFL, I don't think, that can cover Le'Veon Bell. So I think they go out and they get him to come in. He's going to come in for the league minimum because he's already getting paid a bunch of money from the Jets.
Yes.
So he can come in. He can afford to take the league minimum, go ball out because he has every incentive to do that. Sign that 1 year league minimum, ball out, and then come up next year, and possibly get another really big contract. So,
well, I do agree that the Cardinals will be an interesting landing spot for him. I mean, Kenyon Drake is supposed to be better than what he's been playing. He's been a step slow all season. He's been killing me in fantasy. Like I'll never draft him again. But Le'Veon Bell, we don't know. I mean, the Jets are horrible. Adam Gase, bad coach, but we don't know how much Bell has left in the tank. I don't think he's the same running back as he was in Pittsburgh, but I don't think he's as bad as the Jets version either. So he's somewhere in the middle of that.
Yeah, for the league minimum, why not take the chance?
Yeah. I'm saying for the league minimum, definitely take the chance. I'm just not sure that he'll be the impact player that you think he's going to be, just because we don't know. Like, he took a year off from football, then came back last year, was not the same guy, averaging like maybe 3 yards a carry, 3.3 yards a carry. And then this year, he was out, and now he's cut. So we don't know exactly how much is left in the tank, but I do agree that the Cardinals should give him a shot because Kenyon Drake has been a disappointment. Edmonds, I'm not sure how good he is. And, they have an opportunity to, make the playoffs. So you want to put your best foot forward. And, with the ability to get Le'Veon on a minimum deal, I don't see why not take the risk. So I'm in agreement with you, but I'm not at the same time, which is good. Yeah. But all right, that was our taking a shot segment. Round of applause. All right, moving on to these topics. Continuing on with the Cardinals. Coming up this week, Cardinals are at the Cowboys Monday Night Football. Cardinals are a 2.5-point road favorite, and the reason they are favorite is because Dak Prescott got hurt. Devastating injury. I've had my reservations about Dak, about he should have got paid this amount instead of wanting $40 million. But at the end of the day, seeing him get hurt was like the absolute worst thing that can happen, not only from a player's perspective, just as like a human being. Like, he's on a franchise tag contract for 1 year. Now he puts his whole future in jeopardy. Not in jeopardy. He's going to get signed again by either the Cowboys or another team. We'll discuss that in a minute. But he's not going to get the money that he was looking for, I don't think, because it's going to be super risky now. And Jerry, shrewd operator, he's going to try to lowball him even more than he was already. And I just think for Dak, he needs to fire his agent. His agent didn't do him any favors, convinced him to bet on himself when this is a brutal game and your career can be over in, one play. Or even in practice, like, Alex Smith, he came back, but, he was hurt. He hurt himself, like not even in the game, I don't think. So it's unfortunate for Dak. And going forward, I'm sorry, not Alex Smith. Teddy was the one that hurt himself in practice. Alex Smith.
Yeah, I was about to say, because Alex Smith, that was like they said it was like a mirror image of the Joe Theismann injury too.
Yeah, my bad. Alex Smith got hurt in the game. I was thinking of Teddy Bridgewater to say. I was just thinking about all quarterbacks that got hurt.
Yeah.
And with Dak, they said it was a clean fracture, whatever that means. He's going to be back, but you just never know. Like, Dak is he's a pocket passer that has that athleticism that can run the ball a little bit, but you just don't know like how long is it going to take for him to get back to his old self. Is he going to be scared? Is he going to be hesitant? Is he going to be the same guy? So now going forward, I think what the Cowboys may do is they may try to there's multiple things that may happen. Me personally, I think it's a 50-50 shot that he does come back for the Cowboys. Here's a few scenarios that I have drawn in my head is that, they try to offer him a multi-year deal, but instead of like the 38 million that he wanted, they might offer like, $28 million.
Dang,
And
28.
just because like the Cowboys are risking themselves by giving him a multi-year deal. But on the opposite end, the reason Dak might do that is because if they franchise tag him again, he'll make $38 million, but it's only for 1 year. And if he's not good anymore, then he might not never get a contract again.
Mm-hmm.
So they might try to play that game. They might try to sucker him into a multi-year deal. 28 might be too low, but maybe like that $32, $33 million that Carson Wentz and Jared Goff got, that might be the number that they might offer him. Number two is Dak might be like, you know what, I'm back. And, I want a multi-year deal. I still want my 40 million. And the Cowboys just might simply just let him walk. And, they might bring in a guy. I mean, I brought up there's a possibility that Sam Darnold might be on the market because they're going to be so awful and be in position to draft Trevor Lawrence. Maybe the Cowboys offer a second round pick for Darnold and, use him on his rookie deal for 2 more years and try to do it that way. That's another scenario. But I just think that this injury for Dak changes his entire future. And I don't think he's going to get the big payday that he wanted right away unless a desperate team comes in. But just an awful injury. And before we get back to the Cardinals and Cowboys game, what were your thoughts on the injury in itself, and what do you think about it? What do you think of it in regards to Dak's future?
So I hate the Cowboys, but I never want to see somebody get injured. So because of that, I will talk no more trash about the Cowboys for the rest of the year because Dak was hurt. I'll let him slide. But it sucks because, I don't think Dak was worth the 40 that he wanted, but I think he is going to be worth more than what the Cowboys are going to offer him. I think you're right, and this is a very tricky situation because if he comes back, franchise tag, and he plays bad, then he won't get that contract that he wants. And then on the other hand, like you said, again, the Cowboys might lowball him and just be like, you're hurt, you're injured, you're not the Dak you were, before. So, he might just take that. But I don't think Dak stays in Dallas. I'm 80-20 on that, him not staying. I think there's other teams out there that will pay him more to come in and play for them. So I think Dallas will go to I think Dak will go to another team, and I think Dallas will actually kind of just stick with Andy Dalton and maybe either try to draft his heir apparent or get somebody in free agency.
Well, here's the thing. Like, this is why I'm 50-50. It's because I think if push came to shove, the franchise tag is still in their back pocket. So if they don't find themselves in a quarterback situation that they love, they'll at minimum franchise Dak. Now, if Andy Dalton comes in and lights it up for the remainder of the year,
I think Andy gets you to the playoffs.
Well, it depends. Like if we go 7-9, then we kind of bad division. We kind of just backdoor our way into the playoffs. But if we go on a run and end up like 11-5, then you would have to consider giving Andy Dalton a long-term contract because he resurrected his career. Like, look at Ryan Tannehill. Like, he was rotting away in Miami, got rid of Gase, went to Tennessee, and he looks like a really solid quarterback all of a sudden. Like, he had a great game against the Bills. They had they had a good playoff run last year. So if Andy Dalton can do something like that, then Dak's really in trouble in regards to coming back to the Cowboys. But let's say, Andy Dalton gets us to 8-8, 7-9, and it still gets us to the playoffs. I think they'll still consider bringing Dak in. I'm telling you, man.
So what's the number? 11-5?
10-6, 11-5. If we get to 11-5 and win a playoff game or two, Andy's coming back. If we go as a starter, as a starter, if we go 7-9, 8-8, get bounced out in the first round, Dak's coming back. But the
I
wild
think, yeah, 'cause
card,
I think for Andy, this is the best possible situation. I think the defense is bad, but they're bad early on in the season. So the defensive coordinator knows what's in front of him. Like he know what he has to work on. He works on that. You guys are in a soft division. You get to the playoffs. I think you beat the first team because you got I say this every week. On paper, Dallas is probably the second or third best team in the NFL on paper. Their number one, Amari Cooper, is getting outshadowed by their number 3 or number 2, Michael Gallup. You know what I mean? And then their number 4 can catch too. So wide receiver, they're good. And then running back, they got Zeke. So
yeah, our biggest issue is our defense.
yeah, that's
And
what I'm saying. It's the defense.
I think our defense it will improve over the years because we're going to get Van Der Esch back. We're going to get Sean Lee back. And if we go to the formula of feeding Zeke the ball, that'll give the defense an opportunity to rest and they'll be fresh once they're on the field. And we use that formula in Zeke's first year, run the ball, give the defense a rest because the defense wasn't good then either. But they were fresh, so they were able to make plays and cause turnovers and things of that nature. So I think that's ultimately the formula that we're going to have to use in order to win. We can't rely on the defense to make stops because they can't do it. But I do think over the course of the year, Van Der Esch comes back, Sean Lee comes back. That'll at least improve against the run game. Against the pass, is still going to be problematic, but we're just going to have to find a way to cause some turnovers and create plays. But in regards to this game, I think the Cowboys can win the game. I mean,
I think they can too. I think they don't. I think the Cardinals defense isn't that good.
Yeah, lost Chandler.
They don't. Yeah, exactly. Lost Chandler Jones. They don't have enough film on Andy Dalton, and it's not like the Cardinals they saw him it's not like they saw him every year when he played in Cincinnati. So they don't have a lot of tape on him. They don't know, his intricacies. They have to kind of learn up on him in a week. And then the Cowboys, like I said, they have all these other weapons. I think the Cowboys win this game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I just don't know how it's going to go because, if we come out and we start turning the ball over like we've been doing every single game this year, we're going to get blown out because Dak is not there to lead a fiery comeback like he has done earlier this year. But if, we come out, play mistake-free football, put some drives together, and even if we only end up with field goals on those drives, just don't fall behind by 2-3. We fell down 17-3 to the Giants. If we can't afford to do that against the Cardinals because their offense is sustainable enough to where they'll just keep putting up points. And Andy Dalton is not good enough to lead a fiery comeback. So as long as
we don't know yet.
Well, you don't know, but I have my doubts. So as long as we don't fall behind super high early, put some drives together. A punt is not the worst thing in the world. Punt the football. Just don't turn it over. If we can avoid the turnovers, I think we'll have a shot at this game. It's Monday Night Football. We're home. We got a shot, man. If I had to bet the game, it would be no bet. My heart's too much in it. I can't figure it out. The fact that the Cowboys are home underdogs, you rarely see that. So I just have no feel for the game. I need to see Andy Dalton in a full game in order to start making bets on this team again. All right, moving on. Rams at 49ers. 49ers 3.5-point home underdogs, which is insane. As I said, your schedule is brutal. Jimmy G, I think he's going to play this game. And the fact that the Rams should not be 3.5-point favorites in this game. I mean, they look good, but 3.5 on the road against a division rival, I don't see it. I would take the 49ers to cover that spread. I'm not sure about winning the game. It might come to a last-second field goal, but since it's 3.5, it'll still be a winner if you select the 49ers. I just don't see how, after that embarrassing performance last week against the Dolphins, that the 49ers put forth another lackluster effort. I think they're going to play spirited. I do think the Rams are a good team, though, that they can match your spirit and still win the game. But I do see this being a last-second field goal type of game. And I would pick the 49ers to cover the spread.
Yeah, I think it's just because that defense is so hurt. Everybody on the defense is hurt. So it's like I think Mo said it last week. He used this analogy. It's just a talent gap we're talking about. The Rams have good receivers. They have a good coach. They have a good quarterback. We have horrible cornerbacks. So I think they can just take advantage of them. And the 49ers aren't really a team that's built to play from behind because they like to run the ball a lot to set up play action. So we're not capable of really. If we get down 2 scores, it's going to be a long day, and the Rams can get up on you 14 points really, really quick. So, yeah, I mean, I think we lose, and I think the Rams too cover it.
Yeah, and that's Sunday Night Football. So, after a full day of football, we got Sunday night. We got Rams at 49ers. All right, moving on. Snell's not here to talk about this Bucks, but we'll talk about it for him. Coming off a loss of the Bears. Packers are visiting the Bucks. Bucks are home underdogs, which is kind of weird. I would have to look that up to see how many times that has happened under Brady's career, him being a home underdog. But yeah, the 49ers, the Packers are clicking on all cylinders, undefeated. Bucks, they're still trying to put things together. I see the Packers coming in and just winning this game. I mean, Aaron Rodgers seems more motivated than ever. People was talking about, Jordan Love was there to replace him. Aaron Rodgers was over the hill. Me personally, I never thought that. I still think Aaron Rodgers is a top 3 quarterback in the league. And I think, with that run game and, just Aaron playing at a high level, even though the receivers have been out, I think the Packers come in here and they take care of business. So I would go with the Packers in this game as far as covering the spread. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. Just because you never know what you're gonna get out of the Bucks. Some weeks they play good, some weeks they don't play good. And like you said, I think Aaron Rodgers is on a mission right now, so he's not going to allow that team to get up and get up comfortably. Like if they get up 3 points, if they get up 7 points, Aaron's going to be on your ass. He's going to be taking his team, going up and down the field trying to get points because if he just stays close enough, later on in the game he can beat you. Because let's be for real, Tom isn't the Tom of old. He's not as accurate as he was, and I don't know if that's just because the play calling is different. The system that he's in is different, and he was in that Belichick and McDaniel's system for such a long time that he kind of got used to that, and it kind of almost gave him a crutch. But you just never know what you're going to get. They have the talent to win the game, but you don't know what they're going to do when they come out to actually play.
Yeah. All right, moving on. The Jets visiting the Dolphins. Jets are 9.5 point underdogs. First of all, Jets. Like they can. What else can you say? They're the worst team in football by far. The Giants they don't have a win, but at least they fight.
Yeah.
The Jets they have no fight.
The Jets don't fight. The Jets don't fight. Like you see that. And the same thing with the Bengals. Like the Giants and the Bengals, they don't have wins, but they fight. They fight.
Yeah. Well, no, I think I believe the Bengals did get a win.
Did they?
Yeah, but going back to the Jets, what else can you say? It's just that Adam Gase is still employed. I guess that's the biggest miracle of it all.
I for sure thought Gase was gonna get fired before the guy and Dan Quinn.
Yeah. So the Jets 9.5 point underdogs. You got Joe Flacco at the helm again. I'm telling you, my taking a shot last week is that Darnold played his last game for the Jets when he got hurt. It very well could be a possibility because, like, at this point, why even come back? Like, if you're him, like, what are you fighting for?
If you're him, you don't want to come back. If you're the Jets, you might still try to get him out there and play.
Yeah. So, going back to the Bengals, they got their first win against the Jaguars a couple weeks ago. Okay. But yeah, the Jets, Adam Gase has to be a dead man walking at this point. Like you cut Le'Veon Bell. First of all, how do you even convince the GM to do that?
Well, they said they tried to trade him and nobody wanted him.
Yeah, nobody was going to,
nobody wanted a contract.
because eventually they were confident that the Jets was going to do something stupid like they did and cut him, and now the Jets have to pay all of that money, and Le'Veon gets to go to a team for free. Well, not for free, for the league minimum, and man, just horrible. But in regards to this game, I mean, the Dolphins could just pick a number, in my opinion, and they can win by that margin. I would take the Dolphins very, very comfortably in this game. 9.5 is a lot in the NFL, but with the turmoil going on with the Jets and Adam Gase, them players, man, they might just start, faking sick. Like, yo, I got COVID, I'm out. Faking injuries. This team has this team is giving up. The coaching staff looks completely lost. Adam Gase, he's a dead man walking. He'll be fired. He'll be fired within the next 2 weeks, in my opinion. And, the Dolphins, coming off a huge win. Now they get to go back home. They got the Jets on the schedule. It's time to eat. So I think the Dolphins win this game by a wide margin. What do you think of this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Dolphins just smashed them. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We have the Washington football team visiting the New York Giants. Giants coming off a last-second loss to the Cowboys. Washington football team. First of all, congratulations to Alex Smith coming back. Brutal injury, but coming back from that's an accomplishment in itself. So round of applause for him. With that said, this team looks awful. There's no way around it. Like, I think the Giants win this game. To be honest with you,
I think the Giants are going to win this game.
Even though the football team, they have a good defensive line, their offense is just so bad. They can't move the football.
Who's their coordinator?
I would have to look it up, but yeah, and Ron Rivera. He's a defensive-minded coach. Defense is okay, even though the Rams came in there and they really just took care of business last week. And then Aaron Donald, he was all over those quarterbacks, whether if it was Kyle Allen or Alex Smith. And in this game, for the Giants' sake, like if they don't win this game, it's very possible that they go 0-16 as well, because their schedule doesn't. They won't be favored in another game this year unless the other team is sitting players. But yeah, the football team.
Their offensive coordinator is Scott Turner. I don't even know who that is. That's Norv Turner's son.
Might be Norv Turner's son or something like that. But yeah, Washington looks awful. Giants, like I said, they're winless, but at least they fight. Mm-hmm. And I think they should win this game. 2.5. I think the Giants should win by a field goal or more. So my pick would be the Giants. But yeah, this is you talk about the battle of the NFC East. This is it right here. Like this is to see, like, who's going to be third place in a bad division, pretty much. Because I feel that the Eagles and the Cowboys are still the top two teams by far in that division.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We have the Ravens visiting the Eagles. Ravens are 7.5-point road favorites. Interesting game. Lamar has not looked hasn't looked great this year. Eagles, tough loss to the Steelers last week, but they did play well. It was a tight game for a little bit.
The Steelers are a good team too.
Yeah, Steelers are a real good team. That's a tough place to win at on the road. So with this game, I think 7.5 is a lot. Raven and the Eagles defense, especially their front seven, they're good enough to contain Lamar. So I would pick the Eagles to cover that 7.5-point spread, just because Lamar hasn't looked well, and even though the Eagles secondary is not strong, I think their front seven will be able to create enough pressure on Lamar to kind of disrupt the rhythm. And I think on the opposite end, Carson Wentz, he continues to throw the FedEx drivers, and he makes plays, and it's just once he starts getting his receivers back, that team should be a bit better. But as far as the 7.5, I think the Eagles do enough to keep the game within that number. Just because, like I said, that front seven should be able to contain Lamar, and on the opposite end, Carson Wentz should be able to make some plays against that defense. Your thoughts?
Yeah, yeah. Lamar has not been the Lamar of late, but I still think that's a good team. The team overall might be better. The Eagles are throwing Wentz is throwing the FedEx drivers. Yeah, so I mean, Ravens all day.
All right, moving on. This is the first Monday Night Football game. It is Chiefs at Bills. Bills are 3.5-point home underdogs. Chiefs coming off a loss to the Raiders, and they're going to want to get they want to get back into rhythm here. Bills coming off a beat down by Tennessee, and that was on Tuesday, and here we go again. Right back. I mean, it is Monday night, thankfully for them, but it's still a short week for them compared to what the Chiefs had to go through.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with the Chiefs being pissed off that they lost to the Raiders and, just wanting to get back into rhythm, I think the Chiefs go in here and they take care of business. 3.5. The Bills defense is pretty good, but I just think that, with the
it depends if they get their corners back. If they get their corners back, they're a better team.
Yeah.
If they had their corners, and AJ Brown, I don't think they would have got beat as bad as they did yesterday.
Yeah, well, just think with the Chiefs, they're going to look at this game like, yo, we got blown out. Not blown out. We got beat at home.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go in to Buffalo and show the rest of the NFL like, yo, we still the champions, and we can still, just beat anybody in the league once we put our minds to it. We were kind of riding on a high, but now, we got beat down. Time to reshuffle. Time to refocus. Let's get back to it and blow out a good team on the road. So I think the Chiefs go in to Buffalo, win the game, and cover that spread.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We had another firing. Dan Quinn, long overdue, fired by the Atlanta Falcons.
They fired him like directly after that game.
Yeah, because I was watching it on Red Zone, and I saw that Arthur Blank on the field. I was like, oh, he looked like he's ready to fire somebody. So that's exactly what happened. He let him go, and he also let the GM go. And long overdue.
I don't know why. Oh, probably because they messed up on that onside kick against Dallas.
Yeah, long overdue. I mean, Dan Quinn is a good guy. I mean, hopefully he can find a job as like a coordinator.
I think he'll find a defensive coordinator spot.
Yeah, next year. But that team, you talk about a team at a crossroads. They can either bring in a new coach and try to work with what they got, or it could be a fire sale. I saw some people talking today that the Colts should trade for Matt Ryan because Phillip Rivers is done. I think that would be a good move.
I don't even know why the Colts went out and got Phillip Rivers to begin with.
Yeah, he looks terrible.
I don't know what they were thinking.
He looks terrible. So if the Falcons are willing to do something like that, start trading away like your franchise quarterback, then Julio has to be next. So
I think if they get rid of Matt Ryan, then I think Julio is on his way out of the door because he wants to go. Like he might not show up to practice.
Yeah, like if you trade, the thing is like when you see, it's rare that you see a quarterback just traded mid-season. Like, the last time I can remember a quarterback being traded, and I'm not even sure if this was in season, was Sam Bradford. Remember when Sam Bradford went from, I think it was from the Eagles to like the Vikings or something along those lines? Because
I think that was during the season.
Yeah, it was either during this. It might have been like right before the season started, or like
it was
week
during the
2 or something
season because he got hurt and somebody took over for him. I can't remember who it was, and they were playing good, so they let him. So they traded because Minnesota wanted him. So that was during the season.
Yeah. So other than that, I can't really remember the last time. Well, the 49ers, they traded for Jimmy G as like a future prospect, but they did let him play at the end of the year.
Yeah, because when they got him, he didn't start right away.
Exactly.
I think when they traded for Bradford, he went to the Vikings and started that next week.
Yeah, like a week or two. The thing with if the Colts trade for Matt Ryan, they're trying to make the playoffs. So they would need to get him up to speed in a week. And I'm just not even sure if that's possible
No,
with
you
the
have to
NFL
run. Yeah,
language.
you have to run a real vanilla offense.
Yeah, so that's out there. And like you said, if Matt Ryan gets traded, Julio has to be next. A lot of teams could use his services. So this team is at a real crossroads. They might be in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes as well as the Jets.
Yeah.
That's
The
something.
only person I think that's untradeable is Ridley.
Yeah, I mean Ridley, young player.
He's a young player, just got there. I think he's still on a rookie deal, and he's amazing. So
yeah, so that's going to be interesting to watch. I think the deadline for the NFL trade
October 29th.
yes, the sort of end of this month. We got like 2 weeks left, so that'd be interesting to see. But Falcons should have had a Super Bowl under the leadership of Dan Quinn. Kyle Shanahan, your guy, kind of wrecked the game plan up, and end of an era, and things come to an end, and this kind of felt like it was dragged on a year too long, similar to like how Jason Garrett held on to his job a year too long. But Dan Quinn, best of luck to you, my brother. That's all I got to say for you, bro. That's all. That is all. Anything else left in football?
Nick Saban has corona.
Oh yeah. This is college. Nick Saban has corona, and they have a huge matchup against Georgia on Saturday. I'm not sure how that's all going to work out. If I'm Nick, I'm trying to cancel that game or postpone it.
And then also, Florida, not Florida State, but the Gators.
Yeah, Florida
Gators. They're getting postponed too because a bunch of people got it.
Yeah, they were supposed to play LSU.
And the crazy thing about it is, after Saturday's game, the coach was, they were doing an interview.
Yeah,
he was saying he wants a petition to have the whole stadium open.
Yeah.
So it's not like a limited crowd, like 15,000. He wanted the whole thing open, and then come and find out, everybody on his team has COVID. Like, people keep playing with this COVID like it's a game, like it's a joke. Like, you just need to run around and start punching people in the face for them to start taking stuff serious, like, because they're playing with these kids' lives. Like, what happens if you're a coach and you're out here petitioning to get stadiums open, or you're not following COVID protocol, and somebody's son gets COVID, and then is in critical condition in the hospital with everlasting respiratory issues? What are you going to say to their parents?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, Dan Mullen,
stay off the weed.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, like, just horrible. And who knows when they'll be back? Because you got players on the team that has it. He talking about full stadiums.
Yeah,
it's something about Florida. It's just weird, man. Like,
they don't care.
Like, their governor crazy, the leadership crazy.
Just like.
And if you ever want to see something viral, if you ever
see
something,
Florida is always tagged on it.
Yeah, if you ever see something wild on social media, there's a 90% chance it came from Florida. So
something in the water.
So yeah, to conclude on football, prayers for Dak, prayers for everybody that got that's been injured. Chandler Jones. It's been a wild year for injuries, and hopefully we can continue on with the season. And
the injuries are just coming from the lack of OTAs and practices before the season and preseason, because all these are soft tissue injuries. Like, these guys, they went from 0 to 100. You know what I mean? No preseason, play the game.
Yep. So, all right, round of applause for football. All right, moving on. Lakers, world champions. Congratulations, Anthony Davis, LeBron James. They clicked immediately when it came to a team, like team basketball. And, the bubble atmosphere, it was probably harder than it looks from the outside, because you got to remember, these guys are millionaires, and they go from having everything at the tip of their hands, and eating world-class food to eating cafeteria food pretty much. And kudos to the cooks, because cooking for all them people every day of the week is a tough task. But it's a difference between cooking for college kids and then cooking for people that are making 9 figures. Like, it's a big difference. So I'm pretty sure that the bubble was more mentally draining for the players than physically. But going back to the Lakers, they got it done. They won it for Kobe. LeBron, fourth title, fourth NBA Finals MVP. Of course, the Jordan versus LeBron topic has been at a high level all week. And I see that you're named Jordan is better than LeBron James. I agree with you, but do you have any extending thoughts on that opinion?
I mean, I just think, because all right, so for example, LeBron at the end of when he won his championship, he said, the Lakers want their respect, the organization wants their respect, the team wants their respect, and he wants his respect. He says it like nobody thinks he's a great player.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks he's a great player. If you say who are some of the greatest players, LeBron's name is always in that category.
Yeah.
It's when you say who is better, LeBron or Jordan, or LeBron or Kobe, and then people give you their opinions, and then it's kind of like, the lines get fuzzy. Like, in my opinion, I just think Jordan is better. I think he played in a different era where the game was a lot more physical. Anytime the game is more physical, then it's more strenuous on the body. It's more of a mental drain. You got to stay focused longer on different things. And then you come to an era where it's not as physical, then it's easier. LeBron is naturally bigger than Michael Jordan. So Michael Jordan was doing all these crazy things in a smaller stature. He was doing this. LeBron has went to championships and lost them. Michael hasn't. Michael has won his championships with the same teams and the same coaches. LeBron hasn't. He'll go to a finals, lose it, and then get the coach fired. Like, how do you have a coach that takes a team to the finals and then you fire the coach? How does that happen?
No, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a thing with LeBron. Like, he is a great player, yes, but I think he needs more. He needs to have a team built around him. He really does. I think when Jordan played, he played at such a high level that people came to that team no matter what he demanded of them. They came to that team. And then when they came to that team, they elevated their game. Just look at Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman won championships before he came to the Bulls. He was always known as a great rebounder, but when he got to the Bulls, in his personality, his wildness, like, for the most part, he chilled out when he got there with Jordan, because Jordan let him know, I'm not. This is about winning basketball. This is about winning championships.
Well, he did go to Vegas during a playoff series or something like that. So
yeah, he went to Vegas, but they had to ask Michael first.
Yeah, he didn't, because he needed to take a few days off. But I saw something on social media that was funny. Like, imagine Dennis Rodman in the bubble.
Stop.
Yeah,
Stop.
but
they won't be able to handle him, because I don't think anybody in a bubble right now could gain the respect of Dennis Rodman to the point where he would chill out.
No, you need security. Like, need security around him
really
at all times.
Like, I think the only people that could really chill Dennis Rodman out was probably Jordan and maybe Kobe, because of the kind of mentality that they had. And for me personally, I think that's what really puts them over the edge, because I think Jordan is better than LeBron, and I think Kobe is better than LeBron because of that killer mentality.
Yeah, this debate is going to go on for forever.
Yeah,
and I think it could really start to pick up if LeBron is able to win one or two more, give him 5 or 6 next year. Like, moving on, I think next year is going to be really, really entertaining, because you get the Nets, you get Kyrie and Kevin Durant.
I think that's going to be a shit show.
But at minimum, they're going to be a playoff team.
Yeah, and
then I think the biggest challenge for the Lakers is going to be what the Warriors are next year. Klay is back, and they got that second overall pick. Mm-hmm. Either they draft a player or they trade it, so their team can be fully loaded again next year. I think Steph is going to come out on a mission, because a lot of people have been disrespecting him, talking about Dame is a better shooter. Trae Young is a better shooter, which is ludicrous. I think
You can't say that these guys are better shooters than him than when, if you kind of look at it comparatively speaking, it would be like Steph Curry invented the shot. You can't be better than the guy that invented the shot.
yeah. So I think people are talking about like, yeah, what the Clippers are going to do, what the Rockets are going to do. That Warriors team, they're coming back. They pretty much took last year off. You know, they had such a great run. They needed to like they kind of did like, I mean, if Clay doesn't get hurt, of course they play out the season.
Yeah,
But
and I think if Clay doesn't get hurt, they win that championship last year.
oh, of course, of course. But yeah, with the Warriors, man, like pre Kevin Durant, they were winning. You know, they set the record 73-9.
Mhm.
So, you know, this team with Wiggins, who's not a bum, and
No,
a second overall pick that they can either flip for another player or do whatever.
Yeah,
They're going to.
they might be able to get Paul George.
Yeah, they need a big. I think.
I think they do. I think they do need a big.
Yeah,
They need somebody that can. I mean, they can get a Montrezl. I don't know how much money he got. They probably don't have Montrezl Harrell money. But I mean, I like Boogie, even though he's injury prone. I think you got to give Boogie a shot because if Boogie doesn't get hurt, he is the best big man in the league, except Jokic. On the outside of Jokic, he's the best big man in the league.
Yeah. Yeah, as we get close to the draft and everything, I'm going to think of a player that they could potentially trade that second overall pick for. There's a stretch big out there, stretch 4, stretch 5, that can shoot the ball that would fit perfectly with them. It just doesn't strike a bell with me yet. But a player like that can, you know, shoot the ball and still play good defense as a big, that'd be the perfect match for them. And if they get
I'm about to say, what if they get that Rudy? They probably won't let him go though.
Who? What player you said?
Gobert.
Oh,
Rudy Gobert.
he can't shoot. So
yeah, but I think I don't think you need a shooter because they're so dominant on the outside with the two guys they got.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
I think you need that rebounder, and Gobert is a defensive player of the year type caliber person. So I think that would set them over the top.
Yeah, now you actually, you know what? You make up a good point. Gobert might be the fit. He might be the guy because you know, Clay and Steph are going to be they're going to be launching the ball at all times anyway.
Lights out.
So you got a guy down there, you know, rebound, offensive and defensively play defense. You know what? Gobert might be the pick.
Yeah.
I don't know if you give up the second overall pick for him. I don't
know.
So
I think it just depends on. Like, so if you give up that pick for him, I think in my mind, I think you're trying to win 2 or 3 championships right now. I don't think he's the long-term answer. I think he's the short-term right now answer. And that might be the fit because how much longer are you going to have Clay and Steph shooting at the rate that they shoot now?
I mean, they're both. I mean, Steph might be like 30, 31, 32 at max.
But are they going to be able to run around, do the stuff that they do for 4 more years, 5 more years?
Yeah. So I think if they don't trade the pick, then James Wiseman from Memphis should be the pick. He's a big, very skilled. That would be the guy that they should take. He's 7'1", very, very skilled. And you know, he left Memphis early because there was some issues with like Penny Hardaway giving him money back in the day or something along those lines. But if they don't trade the pick, then I would imagine James Wiseman being the guy. And if you're a rookie, oh, happy day, because it won't get much better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Another team out there, you know, just going back to the East, Milwaukee, huge year for that franchise. Because I tell you what, if they don't win, they have to at minimum get to the finals next year, or Giannis is gone, and then they go back to the doldrums of being like just Milwaukee, like you are the Milwaukee Bucks in the middle of nowhere, and you stink. Like that's what's going to happen.
They won't be able to attract anybody.
Exactly. So huge year for them. Miami, I think they overachieved this year. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to duplicate what they did this year.
I think
Everything just worked right.
I think they'll be able to duplicate it because I think this offseason, I think they're going to attract free agents.
Yeah, I mean, if they get a guy in there, that'll work. But if they come back with the same roster, then I don't see it.
Well, I mean, if those guys get better, which I think they will, and then they get a guy that come in there and like kind of run that second unit and give Jimmy a little bit more rest until he gets to the playoffs, I think that team is just as deadly.
Yeah, I think I just think that teams like the Nets and even Boston, I think those two teams would have the leg up on them, especially like when you're playing back at your original arenas. Like I just think it'd be a little bit different. Like you might not see Duncan Robinson just going off in a road game, in a road playoff game like he did in the bubble. Like it might be a little bit different. But I'm looking forward to next season. I mean, I have on a Knicks hat. We're not doing anything, but I'm still going to watch every game. There have been some rumors out there that we might be traded for Chris Paul or Victor Oladipo or even Paul George. I saw that floating around out there too. At this point, I don't care. Bring somebody in because everybody's talking about, build through the draft. Our draft picks stink. Frank Ntilikina can't play. Kevin Knox, he's okay, but we can do better. I want to see what R.J. Barrett and Mitchell Robinson do next year. But other than that, man, we have nothing. Like Dennis Smith Jr., he's a workout warrior in the summer, but when it's game time, he can't shoot. Horrible. So not much going on for the Knicks, but for the rest of the league, everything is high. Is there anything else left in basketball?
No.
Nope. All right. Round of applause. All right, moving on. Not much news. I mean, Trump is out there going to rallies, giving people corona. Other than that,
I think he gave it to his son.
Yeah, I did see a rumor that that Barron had it. Yeah, see, you out here talking about you immune, but
I guess kill his son.
Yeah, kill your family. But yeah, man, 3 weeks to the election. The deadline for voter registration is come and gone. So, hopefully people that listen, if you didn't register, hopefully you did by the deadline. But yeah, man, vote. And this is going to be the most pivotal election of our lifetime thus far.
Yeah. And, you know what I did not realize? I did not realize there were so many Trump supporters in New Jersey.
Yeah, they just
came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's all over the place, man. And it was funny. I was at ShopRite in Neptune over the weekend, and this dude pulled up with a Trump flag like on the back of his vehicle, large, real big. And I said to myself, I was like, man, this dude must not realize where he's at because Neptune, mostly an urban area. And they don't care, so they might just rip that flag down.
They'll rip it off, and then what is that guy gonna do?
Yeah. So when he was driving around, I was like, man, I hope he's not trying to go inside. Hopefully, he's just picking somebody up and he's gonna leave.
Yeah.
But once I saw him park the vehicle, I was like, oh, this man is either lost, he's from out of town, or he just has no fear. So as I pulled out, I saw him park, and I was like, well, God bless, because if you came out and there's an altercation, I don't know. I don't know, but
so I have a theory about that. You see, my theory from my own personal viewing and what I see the majority of, I see more Trump banners and Trump flags and the other day when I was coming home from my hike, I was driving. And there was literally a Trump caravan of motorcyclists and a couple trucks in the front and trucks in the back, and they had the Trump flags and stuff like that. And they illegally stopped traffic because they had one guy on a bike roll up to the intersection and kind of block it so their little caravan could go through, which is illegal. You don't see that for Biden. You don't see that blatant. Oh, I'm a Biden fan or I'm a Biden supporter, And I really think Trump fans do that to try to piss people off.
Yeah.
Because, all right, so like, hypothetically speaking, like if I am a Biden fan or I'm going to vote for Biden, like I don't tell people, I don't wear Biden shirts. I don't paint my lawn with Biden's name on it. I don't do that because, that's kind of, that's like for what? Like, what does that gain? Like, what purpose does that have other than to piss somebody off? And me and my political stance is not to piss anybody off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the goal of this. The goal is to educate myself on whoever I want to vote for his policies, and then I go to the voters booth and vote for them. Like, it doesn't have to be this big hoo-ha hooray show. So I honestly think they do that to cause altercations. So they can say, oh, look at Biden, supporters, they're violent and stuff like that. So I think for them it's a game. Like they're trying to bait us or goat us, I would say, into like these altercations. Because like you said, like why would you ride around Neptune with a Trump thing on the back of your trunk, and unless you want that altercation, so that you can come back and say, oh look, I was attacked.
Exactly. Like you said, I don't see many like Biden flags or like Biden banners anywhere. Maybe a couple yard signs here and there, but
yeah,
I see people with these like insanely large flags like just around sometimes, and I'm just like, yo, like wow.
yeah.
Is that necessary? Like you love Donald Trump so much that you got this big ass 50 by 50 foot flag on the back of your truck? Like
exactly. And then like you kind of have to think to yourself, all right, like we don't know a lot of Trump's policies. We do know he creates decisiveness, like he creates division.
Yes.
And you ride around with this on your truck, so you support the division.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So like, all right. So now I know who you are and what you support, and you're mad loud about it. So it's just like,
Yeah, it these next like 2.5, 3 weeks is going to be a total shit show. And once November 3rd gets here and it's time to vote, man, people just do the right thing. Because if you don't, oh my bad, did you did you see the Kanye West political ad on social media?
Kanye, I hate him. Like I didn't see it. I'm not clicking on anything that he does because I don't want it to get any more, like steam or whatever like that. I know it was a bunch of hooligan nonsense, whatever he was doing. I think he is hurting the political race. I mean, I said the race. Yeah, the race. I think he's hurting it because he's not in it for the right reasons, and he thinks it's a game.
Yeah, I agree.
I think for him, this race is more of a game than really, what are you going to do for people? At least with the Trump, he has literally sided with one side, and we know he's going to support that side politically. Kanye's not going to do that. For him, this is a game. This is a ploy, maybe to get more sneaker sales or something like that. Like, he's just a joke.
Yeah, I watched it, and the message was cool, but I mean, you're putting out a campaign ad 3 weeks before the election, and you're kind of like taking away votes from it's okay if you don't like either candidate, but voting for you it's a complete waste of time because you have no shot of winning. So
you got no shot of winning, and you're not going to do anything.
Yeah,
you're not going to do anything for the United States. Like it just shows you the lack of knowledge he has about the government and the way it runs. Because I think in his mind, if he wins, then he has total control over the government, and that's not the case.
Yeah,
that is not the case. And it's just, I don't know.
So we'll let's move on from politics. New music coming out. Benny the Butcher putting out an album called "Burning the Proof," produced by Hit Boy. Hit Boy's been hot this year, man. He's produced a lot of music. I don't know if you've given the Nas album a listen, but he produced that album as well. And I'm telling you, man, that's a good album. That Nas album is a good album. So
I'm not a new school Nas fan.
I think you would appreciate that album. Just give it a listen. You know, when you're drinking your protein shake in the morning, just throw it on, and then you know,
I don't even know the name of it. I have to look for it.
yeah, throw it on there. I think you would enjoy it. So I'm really looking forward to this Benny and Hit Boy album. Hit Boy, he's a really good producer. He actually has a couple solo albums that I've listened to before.
What,
So
rapping?
yeah, just like rapping.
Hit Boy rapping?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's a surprise, but
yeah, super surprised.
him working with Benny, I'm excited to see Benny out of like, you know, he has a specific sound. So him teaming up with somebody like Hit Boy, who's done music for a wide variety of artists, I'm anxious to see what that sounds like. Not to say that, you know, Benny's going to take step up his level because he's already at such a high level, but it's going to be like a different sound, in my opinion. And I'm looking forward to that. So that comes out Friday. I'm sure you're going to listen to it. Any thoughts on it?
I'm like 50-50 on it because it's I'm assuming it's gonna be more of a mainstream album. And like you said, Benny has a sound, and the sound we've heard from him for the last 2.5 years has not been industry, has not been commercial. So I don't know what this new sound is going to be like. So like when Conway the Machines album came out, like I wasn't super impressed with it because I think it was more structured for mainstream, you know what I mean? And I wasn't like excited about it. Like I like when it comes to those guys, my personal preference is for them to be very like almost mixtape wise, just a bunch of hard beats and bars. And then I don't like the big collabos. I don't like those. Like I like when they stay inside of the Griselda house. They just get their, you know, they get their guys. Always like Freddie Gibbs on a feature too. But I just think it's, I don't know. I gotta listen. I gotta see.
Yeah. See, I like when like on West Side's last album or mixtape, he had a couple tracks produced by Alchemist on there. Yeah. And Alchemist is not mainstream, but he's like he's done some like, you know, industry records to.
Yeah, he has some hits. He has some hits with
like Jadakiss and
Jadakiss.
Yeah, so I think with Hit Boy, that's even more of a step up in the industry because like he has songs with a lot of different people, especially like in the mainstream. But he's also good enough to, you know, taper the sound down to make it sound a specific way. And I think he's more than capable of producing that that Benny the Butcher sound, but you know, kind of making it a bit more, you know, I don't want to say fresh, maybe more polished. Polish is the right word. I think you're going to take a lot of those gritty beats that Griselda is known for and just add some razzle dazzle to it, and and that's what we're going to get. But yeah, looking forward to it. Burden of Proof coming out Friday, on all, you know, streaming platforms. Make sure you get it. Yeah, I think we're done. Anything else? Any announcements or anything?
No.
All right. So round of applause. All right. So that was episode 105 in the books. You can find us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Check out our YouTube channel at Second One Podcast. Also, you can send us an email at info@secondandone.com if you want to, you know, be a guest on the show. You got questions, or you know, you want to send us some merchandise or whatever, man. Send that over to info@secondandone.com. You know, rolling on week 6 NFL. They haven't stopped it yet. Hopefully they don't. COVID is running rampant, especially in college football. And you know, and I think the NFL has a better process just because like there's just much more money involved in it. It's much more structured.
Oh yeah.
But with college, man, I feel like they're on the brink of just shutting things down because they're just way more liable for them students than, you know, the NFL is for grown adults. So yeah, if there's nothing else, thank you guys for listening. This is the Second One Podcast, and we got you guys next time.